Okay, hey everybody, and thank you for tuning into my stream. My name's DrWeez, and well, this is another episode of In the Lab. So the idea behind this is for me just to give you a quick rundown of what's going on, what's in the lab, what's new, what's happening in the world of overclocking at the moment. So the first thing we're going to start off with tonight is the ROG RX 480 Strix. That's the new card that I got in the lab. So it's the first AMD based video card that I've had in the lab since the 7970 days. It's quite a few years ago. I mean, that was what MOA 2013, I think, was the 7970s, maybe even before then. So yeah, it's been a good couple of years since I played with AMD. It's a really good looking card. So that's what it looks like there, and that's the DC, I think it's 3 now, Direct CU 3 cooler with the Aurora lighting effect, and really nice. So a couple of things that really jump out at me about this card when I first opened up is just the small touches. I'm really silly. If you have a look there on that little tag there down the bottom, it's got the ASUS branding there. I don't know, that just tickled my fancy. Some of the other things that the gamers that will really enjoy about this card is it does have the fan control at the back. So there are 2 fan ports at the back here which enable you to connect your case fans into it. Obviously for me, I'm more into the extreme overclocking side of it, but I'm going to be doing something different for a change and really going through and doing some game tests and just really trying to have a look, see what content I can create for gamers and for people that aren't really into liquid nitrogen and all that fancy stuff. So let's have a look at what's going on the test bench today. There's a bit of a nitrogen dry spell going on here in the lab today, due to a little bit of a mix-up with the deliveries and yeah, it's just complications in my life. So what I've got going on here is a custom water loop. For those of you who aren't aware, there's a little competition happening on HWBOT at the moment, which is the Realbench. Let me just get the exact name so I don't muck that up. I think it's, hold on, let's pull it up. So it's the Realbench Challenge 2016. So it's made up of quite a few stages. It's quite a lengthy thing. I think it runs from now until the end of the year, until December, but it's broken up into separate little stages. So there's challenge 1, which is on the go at the moment. It does finish on the 12th. So if you're thinking about taking part, there's not a lot of time for you to actually get going on that. So I'm busy playing with it. I've been spending a lot of time trying to understand Realbench over the last 3 or 4 days, and it's different. I'll tell you that much. It wasn't what I expected in the beginning, but I'm starting to come to grips with it, and I'm just going to go through that. So the limitations in that competition are that anybody from any league can take part. So there's no limitation there, but it is restricted to ambient cooling. And by ambient cooling, they mean like an all-in-one cooler or a custom water loop or an air cooler or something to that effect. So no dry ice, no chillers, nothing crazy like that. You do need to you need to keep your idle temperature around 20 degrees the lowest, and they expect to see a good delta during your load temperatures, and I'll go through that and I'll show you what they mean by delta. So that's the difference between your ambient and your maximum temperatures at load. The other things to mention about this is that there is a restriction on the hardware platform. You can't go ahead and use X99 and just crush it. You have to use other platforms. Oh yeah, sorry, just to let you guys know, tonight we are only on Facebook and on Twitch. I'm monitoring the Twitch chat, so please don't be shy, drop a message there. We've really got a couple of questions coming in there. I'll read them shortly, and let's just finish the intro. So let's go ahead and just have a look at what we've got running on the test bench at the moment. So for the initial part, like I said, I've got the custom water loop going. So it's a 360 radiator I've got going there with just a EK pump, EK res with an EK block on. I'm using EK compression filters on the CPU. Everywhere else here, I'm just using normal bobs and, just little tightening clips. Nothing really too spectacular. For the power, I'm using the ROG Impact, the Z170 Impact. It's my favorite little board. I really enjoy it. I don't know. I'm just a real sucker. I like it. Then the memory, I've got the Galax Hall of Fame. It's a limited edition, only 100 kits made, super duper BDA. To be honest, they are very good. They're worth the money. For VGA, I'm just running a 950. What I found, here's a useful tip. If you're looking at running Realbench, for some reason there seems to be a bug with some of the drivers and the 980 TRs. So just keep an eye on GPU-Z when you run and see if it's downclocking or not. So I found that my 950 was not downclocking. Maybe later we'll try a little bit with the Strix if we've got time tonight. The power, as always, tonight is delivered again by the AX1500i. It's the Elite edition of that power supply. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, the processor Core i7 from Intel, the 6700K. And with the all-in-one cooler that I was using during the week, I was using the Neptune 280L, really great cooler. I was maxing out around 4.8, 4.9 on my processor. So with the custom loop, I've managed to push that up to almost 5G and just over 5G. It's there, but it's still a little bit touch and go. So I need to sort my ambient temperature out a bit, get the aircon running and just really pump this room down and get it cold. Problem with that is it's hell of a noisy. The same problem with this custom loop, it's hell of a noisy. So there's going to be a lot of background noise on the stream. So if I need to shout, just drop me a message. Right, so what was I busy with? Alright, okay, so where are we going to start? We're going to start and let's have a look at Realbench, because that's what we've got set up. And then from there, I'm going to plug the Strix in and get the drivers installed. And then I want to install a game benchmark and just go through some of that stuff. So that's what basically, in a nutshell, what we're going to get up to tonight. And that's in the lab. Alright, so yeah, let's transition across. Let's get this all powered up and let's get cracking. Alright. So we'll start off, we'll go into the BIOS and I'll just have a look, see, to show you guys what I basically got set there. It's nothing too complicated. So in a nutshell, the difference between my my all-in-one cooler and my custom water loop is the maximum temperature. So with the all-in-one cooler, which is only, again, it's only a 280, so it's only got, it's basically two 140 fans. At 1.48 volts, which is what we've got set in the BIOS here, okay, 1.48 volts, I was maxing out at like 98 degrees. With the all-in-one cooler, I max out at 89 degrees, so there's about 10 degrees difference there. Once I get the ambient temperature down in this room, you'll see that I should be able to run 5.05 with this processor quite easily. And this is not my best chip either. This is just my one I don't mind buggering up. So going through the BIOS, what we've got set is 4.9 for the core. Right, we've got the memory set to 3866. We've got some DRAM timing sets. We'll go through those in Windows. I've just got the cache ratio at 46. I didn't find that Realbench actually scaled at all with CPU cache. CPU voltage 1.48, DRAM voltage 1.65, and then yeah, we've just got PCH at 1.1. Under the advanced menus, nothing really going on here. Everything is just set to auto, and the last one is under onboard configuration. Everything there, I've just disabled the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So as far as the BIOS is concerned, that's all that's really going on. Nothing really fancy, nothing special to go through there. It's straight. Oh, why did I do that? Let's just escape, quit without saving. Okay. I don't want to load up to my defaults. I wanted to exit. Oh, wait a minute. We've got no picture on the screen. I'm just busy talking and showing you everything, but we've got nothing on the screen. So just hold a second there. I think I know what the problem is. In getting my water cooling loop out, I have maybe unplugged the splitter, or it could be that I was wrong cable plugged in. Okay, that's all right. It looks like I had the wrong cable plugged in. Yeah. Okay, so let's just reboot and go through all that again. All right, so we got two comments. Hi, Andrew. The other Andrew here. Hello, Andrew. I'm quite excited to see you messing around with the 480. Yeah, I'm quite excited to to have an AMD card in the lab again. I think it should be quite a lot of fun. I'm also quite excited to see what the sort of bang for your buck is on that. There was a lot of hype around the 480 when it was launched, so I'm quite interested to see how that all performs. Really, I'm not expecting to break any world records with the card. It's not the segment or the market it's designed for. What I am interested to see is how does it actually sort of like perform against its rivals at the same sort of cost point, and that's really what I'm excited about. Yeah, okay, so the quality settings on Twitch. So we've got a solution mainly for the South Africans that are having problems with Twitch, because our internet here is not the greatest. So if you jump onto Facebook, you should be able to watch the stream live there as well. Okay, sure, you need to be on Twitch for the chat, but you can watch the stream on Facebook, and you can change the quality settings. So you can adjust it up and down depending on what your internet connection is like. And if you're having the pausing and the buffering on Twitch, that's definitely a solution. Normally we have the same stream going out live to YouTube, but with the world tour that's going on in Indonesia at the moment, we've removed the YouTube support just to limit the amount of bandwidth that I'm stealing. Alright, so let's get back into the BIOS now that we've got the stream coming again. And I can just go through everything there. Yeah, it's really a sexy card, I must be honest. And this RGB craze that's been going on lately, it really comes to show with the Strix card. It really does look nice when it's powered up. Hopefully you guys get a good glimpse of that on the stream. I'll try and move the camera around to show you. Now my keyboard's not working. Okay, so let's just transition that across. Oh, and I haven't updated the hardware that is used on the stream tonight, so let me just do that quickly as well. Actually, it's pretty good. It's not bad. Let's just put custom loop. Alright, so while we're waiting for I don't know why this is not posting now. It's this VJ splitter. Okay. So while we've got this on the screen quickly, let's just transition across. Okay, so right. So if this is the first time that you're tuning into my channel, let's just go over a few things quickly. At the bottom here, we've got system telemetry. Now, normally the CPU temperature there is directly on the GPU, on the CPU pot, so you can get a real-time reading of what's going on there. Today, what I've done is I have just taped it on top of the CPU over here, so you can get a reading of what's happening on top of the CPU there. The lab temperature, that is a real-time sort of temperature probe I got up on the wall here. And then the voltages, V1, V2, I don't have hooked up on the impact because you need to solder onto the board, and I just haven't got around to putting those solder points on. If you have a look up to this side here, okay, those are the different images that are not maximized at any given time. And then obviously down the bottom, over here, there we go. There's sponsors, thanks to HyperX, who's currently supporting me for the Pro OC Cup, and Intel South Africa, who are trying their best to support me where they can. Alright, so let's get back into the BIOS, and let's have a look see. Right, so as I was explaining earlier, I've just got 4.9 set on the CPU, 3866 set on the memory. Under external power and digi, I've only set some of the thresholds, nothing too important there. I've set the maxes for those three there because I don't want to get any sort of throttling, and nothing under tweak, please paradise. Then for cache I set to 46, voltage 1.48, and then DRAM 1.65. So for 24/7, I don't know if this is really something you'd run 24/7. 1.48 volts is a little bit higher in my books, but it is perfectly stable. And if you're watching your maximum temperatures on air and on water cooling, as long as they're keeping around 70, 80 degrees, I actually see no reason why you can't run that at all. So yeah, you could actually go with this as some sort of like a little comparison to what you might be running in your own rigs. Okay, so I'll just save and exit there again. And let's have a look at Realbench very quickly. Yeah, so I think over the weekend I'm going to get the aircon and everything pumped up into this room and get it down to maybe about 15 degrees to try and just get maximum clocks for this round of the Realbench. The prizes for this competition are quite nice as well. Let's just go through that quickly. Yeah, it's quite a nice balanced competition, so everybody must try and take part. So Realbench Challenge 1, you got ROG Whitestone and Gladius for the first prize. Take it that must be a mouse and a mouse pad. And then you got next generation ROG motherboard and then Realbench Challenge trophy, so that's quite nice. Prizes go all the way down to third place, and basically the attraction for this competition is the ROG next generation motherboard. You know, it's always nice to get your hands on the next generation board as a bit of an early adopter. So that's my motivation to be involved here. So very quickly, Realbench is quite straightforward. There are 4 tests in total. There's an image editing, a video encoding, an OpenCL, and a heavy multitasking test. So the image editing test has scaling with CPU clock and with VGA clock. Your video encoding scales with CPU clock. OpenCL scales with VGA clock. But don't spend too much time worrying about OpenCL. It's not a very heavily weighted benchmark in the overall score. So just make sure that you're not running at like 800 whatever's per second. You know, you need to be up at least around 1.4K. And then the heavy multitasking obviously is a combination of video encoding, video playback, and there's obviously something else that runs, but that scales with video and CPU clock. So that's what you want to focus on. There's also a lot of gain from tweaking your windows. So killing your services, making sure that your page file and memory utilization is all pretty much in check. There's quite a bit of information already on the web. I'd suggest going and Googling and reading that up and then taking it from there. So let's just go through all the tests and we'll just run it at the frequency it's at now. First thing I'll do is I'm going to clock the VGA card. Now I'm using NVIDIA Inspector. And the nice thing about NVIDIA Inspector is you can go into your overclocking, and once you set up what overclocking you want, you can say create a clock shortcut. So that is what I've got on the desktop here, and I've got one that's preset. So now I can just go ahead and say open that, and then we for away. And that every time I can just bounce straight back to those clocks, and Bob's your uncle. It's really easy. So just to show you that I've got what I've got set on the VGA card. So that's not running. Okay, there we go, 1521 and 1960. So a very, very mild overclock. It is an entry-level card. You can't expect to get too much from it, but that's basically what we got there. And then once you're ready to rock and roll, you can just start the benchmark. Now, you can't move your mouse or push any keys while the benchmark is running, and you've just got to sit and watch it go. It is quite a long benchmark, especially the third test, the OpenCL test. I swear it makes me want to murder myself, but you know what, you find something to do while it's running, drink a cup of coffee or whatever the case might be. All right, so the first one is the image editing, and there are tweaks. The score that you go, final score you're going to see here can improve by, I think, 4,000 points just by doing some of the tweaks. All right, so let's just have a look at the Twitch. Right, okay. Wow, that's a hell of a question you got going there. Have you heard anything about when we can expect AMD's interconnectivity fabric, interconnective fabric will be implemented on their MOBAs, and how do you think it will affect compute speeds? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm not qualified to make any comment on that, because I really am not an AMD fanboy. As I was saying when we opened this stream today, it's the first time I've had an AMD component in the lab for a good couple of years. So I haven't done any reading about that. I know a little bit about the new Zen architecture just from what I've heard at Computex. So if you want, I can do a bit of Google and keep an eye for it and feedback, but I'm not going to have much new information for you other than what you can probably find in Google already. Okay, so we're now through the first two tests, and we're on to the third test, which is the OpenCL test. Now this one really is like watching paint freaking dry. The only way you can know that it's running is by the CPU usage on the Realbench screen. Now for some reason it's not work. The CPU usage on my screen doesn't work. But then if you have a look at the bottom of the Luxmark window, it tells you the time it's run, it tells you the seconds remaining, and then the sample per second rate. Now that only updates every 5 seconds or so. So even then, sometimes you think the benchmark has crashed, but it hasn't crashed. Just wait. You move your mouse to see if it has hung, then it aborts the benchmark. So what you can do is just use a numlock to make sure that your system hasn't hung. Otherwise, just give it time. If there's 3 seconds remaining, give it 20 seconds. Sometimes it comes back. Yeah, so this runs for 120 seconds, so it's basically 2 minutes of pain and suffering. Yeah, so definitely, I'm very interested in the new AMD CPUs that are coming out. I think if they live up to the hype, I think we might have a little bit of fun and games on our hands. Definitely when it comes to some of these low clock challenges where you might find that the AMD might offer slightly better performance in the Intel in certain areas. So it's going to be interesting. If, of course, it's not like another bulldozer bloody launch where it's going to do all the good things in the world and then it can't even make you a cup of coffee in the morning. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that, I think. All right, so that's the third test done. Now we're on to the last one, which is heavy multitasking. And so what you can see on the screen now is in the top right-hand corner, it is busy encoding the video that it's busy playing. And you can definitely gain some points on this one by running a lower resolution. That's my pro tip for you today. As for operating systems on Realbench, so far I've tested Windows 10 and I've tested Windows 7. I haven't had a chance to test Windows 8 yet. On Windows 10, the image editing tests seem to be hell of a slow. So where it would take 60 seconds on Windows 7, it was taking a minute or 100 seconds on Windows 10. Now I'm not too sure if that was something wrong with my test setup or if it was just the operating system. So for now, it looks like Windows 7 is the operating system to go for. But yeah, I'm still busy testing. I'll hopefully come back with Windows 8 testing as well sometime soon. All right, and that's it. Basically, the system score, the one that you get at the bottom here, is the final score, and that's the score that you upload. Now, to upload a result is really straightforward. you can, first thing you do is if you're going to save the file or if you're going to upload directly, so if you have internet connectivity or if you're going to save the file, what you have to do is you have to log on to HWBOT. So you have to have internet connectivity, and I didn't plug that in again after. Where is my internet? There it is. After installing a water loop, I didn't plug the internet back in, so let me just plug it in. Okay. So for both tests, you have to log on to HWBOT first, and to do that, you just go into the logon, and then you just punch in your password, your username and password, and just hit log on. Okay, user logged on. Once you've got that, you can then save the file, and then, or you can upload the file directly. Now, you have to log on to save the file, otherwise it was going to give you corruption when you try and upload the file later on. I found it's easy to just upload the file directly. First thing you need to do is open up all your screens. Now, this is not going to be a valid score because I didn't have a hardware monitor open for the tests. So just for the sake of uploading it, I'm just going to upload it anyway. So you have to have a hardware monitor open to make sure that your minimum and your maximum temperatures are within the competition rules. And then you have to have your hardware, your CPU-Z open. You need 4 of them in total, and you need to have GPU-Z. Not to forget the official competition background as well. So, like I said, the score won't be valid because I didn't have the hardware monitor open, but I'm just doing this for the sake that you can I can link it to my submission when we're done. So we just need the motherboard tab open now. Alright, so that is that in a nutshell. Let's just complete it. It will now open up HWBOT and allow you to submit it. Okay. So now for here, we can now go for water custom. And we can say done live on TV / DrWeez _ OC. Can be found on YouTube, damn it, .com / DrWeez. Alright. And then you need to just upload a picture of your overclocking rig when you do submission. I need to get my memory stick, hold a second. Okay, it's still busy copying onto my memory stick. I was busy downloading Resident Evil, the game benchmark, so we could give that a test with the 480. Let's just submit that, and then we're done and dusted. Now, the one thing you can do where it brings up the participate in competition. So you want to say, right, we want to now take part in the HWBOT competition. Just say participate, and Bob's your uncle, you're done. Bob's your uncle. Alright, so that is Realbench in a nutshell. There are, like I said, lots of tweaks out there. Once this round is finished, I'll go through and I'll make a detailed video of exactly how to execute each one and the gains that I got for it. I'm going to leave there to be a little bit of mystery around it until until after the challenge, I think. The information's all there. I found there's nothing special that I came up with myself. That's what I just found on the internet. So yeah, go and do your Googles. Let's shut down and get this Strix card installed. The part we're all looking forward to. So I've got a copy of Windows 7 Retail already installed for the AMD card. I've got the drivers installed on there already. I did have a little bit of fun trying to figure out some of the driver issues, and there's a few complications with all of that. One thing I can tell you, that if you accidentally overclock the card too far and your Windows crashes out, you find it can be a bit challenging to get back into Windows. And the way I overcame that was to actually physically put a different card and boot into Windows, update the drivers, and then it was a real pain in the rear end, I must be honest. There must be, now I was using older drivers, so there must be a fix for that in the new drivers, I'm hoping. If not, well, maybe we can report something and get a fix for it. Okay, so I can't plug in my DVR converter here, so we're going to go straight HDMI. And let's just see if we've got the right port here. Yep. So it's the card's got 2 HDMIs and 2 display ports and 1 DVR compatible output on it. The top HDMI on the box says for VR. The second one for LCD TV, which is the one I'm plugged into, and then your bottom 2, then the display ports, there's no different setting than obviously the DVR. So I wonder if you plug the HDMI into the top, if it will work or not. We'll test that offline. Alright, and it just takes one 8-pin connector. Nothing too exciting with that. Now, the fan has got a 0 dB mode, so if you switch your Strix on for the first time, your fans don't turn, don't get a fright. That is normal. You can enable and disable that, so it's quite nice if you got like an HTPC or your PC is in the bedroom and you like to watch movies at night. You can put it onto the 0 dB setting, and obviously then it will be nice and quiet. That's a luxury we don't have in the OC lab with these 6 fans here going at full tilt. Now, so let's just transition across here. Let's try and give you a glimpse of what it all looks like when it's actually up and running. So hopefully I don't give you guys some motion sickness here. I'm going to move the camera around a bit. Okay, so let's have a look first at the Strix logo at the back here. That's really, really nice. Now, all of these LEDs are configurable as well, so it's RGB. You really can have a good day with configuring it all. Coming and having a look around the other side, right there you can see the fans are in 0 dB mode, so they're not turning at the moment. But just have a look at that shard and look at that lighting effect. It's really cool. I dig it. I think it'll look really nice in a nice windowed case, but if you're into that type of thing, of course. So that's your quick introduction to what's going on. Let's have a look while we're at it. Let's just have a look at this triple rad that I got going here. So it's just a nice triple rad. I've got 6 JetFlo 120 more fans on there, and the push-pull configuration is moving that way, blowing into the power supply, nice and cool. Okay, so we're back up and running. So okay, so this Windows is currently sitting with the problem we have overclocked too far, and it's not posting. Let's do something. Okay, I guess we're going to just run Windows 10 then. Do I have Windows 10 drives, the AMD? Yes, I do. Okay, great. Quick switch to Windows 10. And we A4 away. Let me just get my USB. Okay. Okay, so I've got a problem with the HDMI splitter or with the HDMI cable. What you're getting on the stream there, that green light, I'm not getting on my screen. So let me just unplug the splitter quickly. Okay, and let's just plug that back in. There we go. Sometimes it does that with the new hardware. It just needs a little bit of a reboot. All right, okay. Right, so this is a Virgin Windows 10. Let's just have a look at everything. Let's go here, go here. Okay, right, so Windows 10 64-bit. We've got 16 gigs of RAM. Under Device Manager, nothing has been installed yet, so we'll just go through and install all that quickly. We'll install the drivers. We'll install all the ROG features, and install Resident Evil. It's the only standalone benchmark that I could find legitimately off the internet that didn't require a purchase of any sorts. I'm looking for game benchmarks that are available for free, guys. If you know of any, please let me know. It'd be greatly appreciated. It just really just gives me content to share on the stream, really. So Z170. Let's install the chipset drivers. Or not. All right, and from there we just need Turbo B. So I've just had a personal message from one of our overclocking friends who's normally on the stream. The other news from the overclocking world this week was, as we all know, on the dual core processor is XTU score 742. The maximum was, or that we all thought was the maximum, was 742. There were 60 odd people that had all achieved this score of 742, and it was perceived as being, it was like a rite of passage almost. You needed to get it in order to consider yourself an overclocker to a degree. So a lot of guys battled to work on it and to get it. Then what happened this week was our friend from Australia, 0+0, on the Gigabyte board, that was the Z170 Allen 2, went and cracked a 743. So now we've moved from having the maximum 742 of 60 odd people all achieving the score to 743. I did notice now, just before going live, that somebody else has now got 743 on the OC Formula M. So yeah, it looks like all of us are back to the drawing board to go and hunt down those points. Personally, you know what? Well, it's a lot of work. I don't know if I'm going to bother. I'm going to go hunt for my points rather on 3-way or in 4-way or something else. Right, so let's go drivers, AMD. No, I put it under GPU. All right, Strix, okay, and then our AMD driver. So x64. Okay, and then just Windows 10. Yeah, that's it. Cool Hand Luke got 743, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a really, and it's such a mission, to be perfectly honest there, Mark. I think really in the new revision that comes out, it's going to tackle that problem anyway. So not everybody was sitting on the top maximum points. I think the other places that we can really, as overclockers, look towards to getting better points. And I think a lot of that is going to be on the older hardware. So making sure that in your hardware categories, you've got maximum points, not only depending so much on globals and on latest tech. So I'm on a mission now. I'm hunting down some more 8800 GTXs. I'm keen to get my gold cups back on that. And maybe the faulty ones that I've still got up on my wall, I've got a whole wall full of them. I'm thinking maybe trying to e-power them, seeing if they can come back to life, because there are a couple of good ones there. It's also cost. Just you can't keep buying these expensive Tights and X's to keep up the Joneses. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but yeah, it's expensive, man. Okay, so it looks like we've got that installed. Well, as I said it, but anyway. And that's your AMD drivers for you. Out the box, there's a problem with them on a fresh installation of Windows. They really don't do themselves any favors, do AMD. Maybe I must install it as administrator. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I guess that's installed, is it? Let's install GPU tweak. Sorry, I got the wrong window maximized here. Let's just transition across. Right, so other interesting topics to chat about quickly while we're setting all this rubbish up. There's the HWBOT World Tour. It's happening in Indonesia. So the amateur event happened the last couple of days, and that was all very exciting to watch. But the extreme stuff was all going on today, and the qualifiers for the finals tomorrow took part. So out of everybody that took part, we've got Hazan and Bibi Boy Jez that we know about, the two Indonesian clockers we know, or I know personally, that have made it through. And then we've got Rev OC and Speed Fastest. So those are our 4 finalists going through to the finals tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting. I'm hoping to be able to tune in for that. To see who will be taking the seat to Germany. Alright, so I've just got an apps folder that I always copy across to an installation. That's just your stuff like CPU-Z and GPU-Z. It's just easy just to have one select folder that you always just grab and drop. And then GPU-Z. And then capture. Okay, so that is complaining about not being able to speak the card. So I'm guessing there's a problem with the drivers. Let's uninstall those drivers and install a different version. This is just exactly the frustration I was experiencing the other day when the card arrived yesterday. In fact, when the card arrived, just I think I've been spoiled with NVIDIA too much. So with NVIDIA, you install the card and you just say go, and the stuff works. So none of this iffy, it's broken but it's working but it's broken scenario. I don't know if the card isn't that new that it should still be sort of like going through teasing process. I think the 480 is mature enough by now, surely. So that was a little interesting, whatever that was. Okay, let's just restart and try a newer version of the drivers. At first, when I installed the card yesterday as well, I couldn't get it to run OpenCL at all. Don't ask me why or what or how, but it magically started working when I put the hard drive back in that it wasn't working on. I reinstalled it, and then it started working again. So, it just it could have been lack of sleep, or it could have just been not being used to the way that those engineers think, because there's also a mindset that we all have to come and be adjusted with. Right, let's reinstall drivers. So now we can go to drivers, AMD, and then these were the latest and greatest. Oh wait, it's Windows 7. This is definitely Windows 10. Let's try this. Otherwise, we'll pull out Clonezilla and we'll quickly just rebuild a Windows 7 image for us to use tonight. I'm sure you guys are very interested to see how Clonezilla works again, in case you missed it the last couple of times I've done it. Okay, so let's get Windows 7 going. I'm not going to fight too much. Right, so Clonezilla. I'll fight with that offline. Alright, so I've got all my operating systems. When I do a fresh installation, basically what I do is I use an application called Clonezilla, and then you boot off the USB, we'll go through the whole process now, and then I use a second hard drive, and I actually create a backup of that image onto the second drive. So it's easy. If you need to, you can recover as quickly as 1, 2, 3, and it's basically like a restore point, but on a clean installation. Okay, I don't know why I came in here. Let's just do that. Okay, and we want fresh Windows. We've got Realbench, AMD. Let's just go with that. So that's an image I created of my operating system that I had configured for the AMD for Realbench. So there's a lot of services and stuff that have been disabled, but it's fine. I can go and enable them again just to get if it's causing a problem with the benchmark. So the reason why I did that was because of when I pushed the video card too far and I couldn't boot in the beginning. The only way I could get back into the operating system was to bloody roll back and to reinstall everything. It's a real problem that's not being able to recover. So from what I've been reading, it's actually Whatman that stores information of the clock settings and applies them at Windows startup. I need to figure out, or someone hopefully has figured out, how to stop that from happening on a setting somewhere or a registry or something. I need to figure that out, because that would drive me absolutely insane. It really would. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's that process done. So really, a real easy tool. If you haven't seen it being done before, really take the time, go and download it, go and give it a try. It's really straightforward. The steps that I've showed you now are it's basics of what you need to know. And if you need to know how to back up your drive as well, I can show you sometime on the stream. Just pop me a message. And that's it. So just disconnect the drive and be back in business. Didn't take up the memory key. Yeah, it hasn't found the hard drive. What's going on here? Okay. Yeah. Millions of colors and 6 different effects for personalized gaming systems. That's pretty cool. I downloaded the software for that. I actually might as well install it on this operating system and have a look at it. Auto Extreme Technology, 100% automated production process for premium quality and reliability. Ah, okay. So marketing. Alright, so we can just quickly have a look here. MS config. Yeah, okay. I don't know if they're going to cause any trouble. Manual. Okay, no, this was fine. What I've actually done on my other operating system, I've gone through a lot of these and disabled them. So this is all sitting in manual at the moment, automatic, that's fine. So we won't have any problems there. Parameters incorrect. Hold on. Just make sure it's sitting in properly. Yeah, no problems there. Right, so let's go ahead and install Resident Evil 6 benchmark. I don't know what's going on with these drivers now. I don't know if it's Windows or something not right. That seems to be fine. That seems to be fine. Fine-ish. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and let's run that, see what it's like. I've never run this before, so it'll be a first for me. Oh, messy. What was that sack that came out of their back, or was that like the sack the sack that they grew in or something? It's ridiculous. Okay, well there we go. We got scored. It wasn't too painful. So the things we need to have a look at is, does this benchmark scale with CPU? Does it scale with memory, or is it purely just on VGA? So we'll just go write that down. I need to remember what that was. I don't see a way of us making a screenshot here, really, is there? So the thing to take notice of here, this is DirectX 9C benchmark. So I should look at maybe making sure that I've got DirectX installed as well, the latest version. Let's see if we can change anything on the settings here. Okay, so that's on maximum. That's maximum. Vertical sync is off. Interlacing, maximum. And okay, so everything is basically on max. And it didn't seem to be anything crazy there. It was a promotional video. Okay, so the things I've got to figure out now is what's going on with the drivers, first of all. Why is it giving me issues there, which I never had yesterday when I was doing the pre-testing. It could be, I've installed the water cooling since then. I don't know if that's got any bearing on it. I'll have to figure it out. Screw this. Okay. Let's quickly go and have a look at maybe installs. Maybe there's a problem with my overclock. Maybe that's causing problems with the drivers. We'll try and downclock quickly and see if that fixes any problems. Let's have a look at Echo Mark. I don't even know if this will run. No. No, I don't have DirectX installed. I think that's the problem. What else should we have a look at quickly before we wrap things up today? Let's have a look. What else do we have installed? So what else is quite quick? Oh, screw quick. Let's have a look at Catzilla. Are you kidding me? Okay. I must remember things take a little bit longer when you're not running at 6.5. Not bad. That's pretty good. Memory serves me correctly, that's about the same as a heavily overclocked 750 at stock. Sure. Yeah. Well, I haven't overclocked Catzilla in a long time. Going through my scores here. Okay, so I got, in comparison, a very heavily overclocked GTX 750. This is the score I'm comparing against because that's the last one that I personally ran, and that was for one of the MSI competitions. So I had e-powered a 750. I was using a Haswell processor, 4790K, overclocked to 5G, and I got 11,200 points on that. So at stock, with a 4.9 processor, I got 1200. So that's also 720. This is 1080. So okay, that's not comparable at all. So that's quite nice. I'm quite happy with that. Let's have a look at what Catzilla gets in comparison to that. I saw 1200. I think it should be similar to what, like a 970 maybe, 950 maybe at stock. Catzilla 1080. So single GPU. Yeah, these are all. Let's just go to air. $1,200, $770, $290, $780, all in that sort of region. Maybe that's not the best test run. It's not a lot to compare it against. Let's try maybe 720, cuts out of 720. Alright, well, looks like I got some playing to do. But I think, yeah, guys, I think that wraps up this in the lab episode for today, stream for today. There's not much more going on other than that. The Realbench and then the 480. I need to figure out why the drivers were working yesterday and they're not working today. So in the pre-testing yesterday, I did a little bit of stuff. Everything worked perfectly. Now today we've got the problem to that monitor, so it's just a little frustrating that I wasn't able to bring you the content in the format that I wanted to give you the content in, but we got a little something going there, I suppose, for now. Good luck if you are taking part in the Realbench competition. Don't forget that the competition does wrap up in 6 days, so do yourself a favor, give yourself time to work yourself through the application. There are some little quirks that you need to figure out as to what works best for your configuration, especially on the video card side of things. There are gains to be made by making sure that you have tweaked your windows enough or correctly. But, excuse me. Very well, the problem with the drivers could also be the splitting of the VGA signal. So I'll have to just test with it, not being connected to the splitters and to the stream. And yeah, I'll give you guys some feedback on Thursday. I'm sure I'll figure it out by then as to what exactly the problem was, and we'll maybe do a little bit more coverage there. I think this Thursday I'm going to be looking at the Pro OC Cup. We do hit into the 4th stage now, so we're hitting the VGA overclocks. Let me just have a look online quickly what will be happening there. I think the submission windows only open next weekend, but like with anything, you need to give yourself enough time in order to get your best score. Now, with VGA, there's a little bit of pre-testing that has to happen, so I'll be using either the RX 480 or I'll be using a 980 Ti. I don't have a Titan X, I don't have any 1080s, so I won't be using any of those nice toys. And we will be using a 3D Mark Vantage. So I'll go and do my research to see what we're going to do there, but I think I'm going to start with a 3D this week, get some baseline scores, and see where I can push the processor. And yeah, so that's what I'll be doing on Thursday. Guys, I think I'm going to sign off now, maybe just disconnect the screen from the stream and have a look, see if that's maybe causing the problem, because it wasn't the overclock like I thought it might have been. So it definitely must be something else that's causing some complications there. Let me not just waste your time and my time. Yeah, we'll see you on Thursday night then around 8 o'clock local time. Don't forget to watch the live stream from Indonesia tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's about it. Until next time, happy benching.